Today we will be speaking about theories of leadership. Before we speak about the theories of leadership, let us understand what is the objective or goal of any science. The goals are: 1. To understand, that is to describe what the phenomena is, predict, and third thing, if explain, and if possible we would like to control. Now, this is because unless we understand the phenomena, we cannot bring it into a theory. Now, what is a theory? That is a set of hypotheses or propositions concerning a set of phenomena. That means, we have to understand that through theories it is possible to organize our observations, leading to a set of arrangements which help us to understand the hypothesis and, if possible, to intervene. Now, obviously, we have got multiple theories of leadership. Why do we have multiple theories? Why not a single theory of leadership? That is a question we should answer, or that is a doubt which comes into our mind first thing. Now, there are multiple theories of leadership because leadership is a very complex and intricate phenomena. Hence, there is a multiplicity of theories, because there are multiple qualities of a leadership and different type of situations demand different kinds of leadership. Then we should also be aware of the fact that the moment we talk about leadership, we come to understand that it is political leadership, which is not exactly the leadership content is all about. Because we have sports leader, we have business leader, we have film leaders, we have professional leadership in professions. That means, there is a variety and wide area of application of leadership. Leadership can emerge in any of these situations we have described, and this is not confined to human beings alone. Let us understand that we also have this phenomena of leadership in a pride of lions, in a herd of elephants, in monkeys, ants, etc. And that is why, because of these complexities, we have multiple theories. Each theory explains some or one aspect of leadership. Now, the question arises naturally in our mind: who is a leader? Now, the simplest possible definition of a leader is one who occupies a position of leader. That means, like our prime minister, he is a leader, our leader, because he occupies that position of leadership. One who influences others more than the others influence him. This is another definition. This is another explanation. The third one is one who induces his subordinates in a desired way. This comes most in the context of a management situation. Now, he has to bring the people to obtain a goal which is desired by the group. Then finally, who influences, organizes a group to accomplish a goal. Now, this again is management oriented, and we see that a goal has to be organized and achieved. There are differences between a leader and manager. You just cannot equate a leader and a manager, because the very concept of leader is different from that of manager. Because leader is one who innovates, whereas a manager is one who administers. There is no original this thing in the part of the manager, but for a leader it is very important, he has to innovate. We also have the leader emerging from the group, whereas a manager is one who is appointed by the people, the people, and he does not emerge on his own. And the objective is to develop the group, whereas he would like to maintain the group. A manager will simply like to maintain. That means, a leader inspires, but a manager controls. This is a big difference. Then the objective, the long term objective of a leader is there, whereas the manager has very short term objectives. And most important of all, we have to understand that a leader does do right things, whereas a manager does things right. There is a world of difference between doing things right and do right things. That means, the initiative is with the leader, whereas the manager has to simply apply himself to see that right things are done in his presence. Now, these are the differences between leader and manager. Now, coming to what happens in a leadership. See, whenever there is a group of one or two or more people interacting, we see that they have a goal, and immediately it becomes evident that there is a leader and a follower relationship among that group or between the two individuals. So, the leadership becomes evident the moment there is a common goal to be persuaded. Now, coming to theories, let us start with one by one. First theory we are going to discuss is theories of leadership. Theories of leadership, first among them is the great man theory. This perhaps is the boldest theory and the earliest theory of leadership. Now, this assumes that the major events are influenced by men who hold leadership positions. As an example, we can take and talk about Hitler in Germany. He was the one who changed the course of the events in Germany, and not only in events in Germany, but he also controlled the events in the entire Europe and thereby the world. So, this is a theory of leadership which is known as the great man theory, and leaders are born but not made as per this theory is there. The complementary theory of great man theory is social determinant theory. Now, this is akin to telling something like the spirit of times or temper of times. That means, leader is a result of contemporary or historical forces acting on the situation. That means, it is the leader who determines the course of events which are going to happen. Now, under this you can take the example of one study by Woods. Now, what he did was he compared great states or great governments, and at the same time he compared the prevailing leadership. What he found to his surprise was that whenever the leadership is strong, determined and strong willed, then the country progressed, and whenever the leader was weak, the country also became weak. So, there is a good evidence to support this social determinant theory. Apart from this, there are another type of theory which is known as trait and type theories of leadership. Now, if you are going to talk of traits of leadership, then we can divide the traits into physical traits or psychological traits. Now, under physical traits we have height, weight, looks, etc. That means, leader are more handsome, more good looking, they have better weight than the followers, and they can also be good looking, much good looking than followers. Now, under the psychological trait we have intelligence, emotional stability and emotional maturity and dominance. Now, these are all psychological traits. Now, that means intelligence. Now, let us take for example intelligence. Now, intelligence also is, you do not need a very big gap between intelligence of the followers and the leaders. If the gap is very high, very big, then the problem is the leaders' aim and objective will be different from that of the followers, and soon there will be diverse between the leader and the followers. So, in order to have intelligence as a trait, psychological trait which helps leadership, we will have to remember that the gap between leaders' intelligence and the followers' intelligence is not great, too great. Then emotionally mature and stable, this is obviously is desired this thing, and I have already spoken to you about the dominant and submissive relationship whenever there is a common goal we are trying to obtain. Now, there are different shortcomings of this trait theory. First of all is, all these traits we have spoken about, psychological as well as the physical traits, exist in non-leaders as well. That means, the clear demarcation that leaders will have good looks, leader will have high height, leader will have built, all this does not hold, because the followers, equal number of followers will also be possessing these. So, somewhere they thought, well, this trait theory is not acceptable, let us try to go for a constellation of trait, that is not a single trait, but a group of traits. Now, here also no consistent constellation of trait theories emerge. So, this theory was also rejected in the sense that it does not completely explain leadership. From trait theories of leadership, we go to type theories of leadership. Now, in type theory of leadership, we emphasize on the type of leadership which will emerge, and basically we have democratic theory and democratic leadership, autocratic leadership, laissez-faire leadership. Now, we will go into the qualities of each one of them. First, democratic leader. This is also known as a participative style of leader. That means, the distance between the leader and the follower is very less or almost non-existent. Now, here the leader allows the followers to establish goals, and he recognizes and encourages achievement. That means, the channel of communication in this particular style of leadership is all open. Now, he encourages followers to be part of the decision making process, whereby making sure that the decisions which are made are easily acceptable to each one of them. They feel involved in that decision making process. Now, autocratic leader. Here, this is the classic approach of a leader, where the leader retains much power and decision making authority as possible, as much as possible, and does not consult followers, nor followers are allowed to give any input. That means, followers are simply expected to obey without receiving any explanation from the leader, and the structure of punishment and rewards is just arbitrary. All this also leads to the conclusion that he will not have any communication channel open at all. Any communication, if at all, if it takes place, it takes about him, or it talks about him, or is through him. Now, this is autocratic leadership. After autocratic leadership, we have laissez-faire leadership, which simply means the absence of leadership, hands off style. That means, the manager provides no direction, or the leader provides no direction, gives the staff as much freedom as they want and as much they would like to enjoy. All authority and power are given to the staff. They determine goals, make decisions, and resolve problems of their own. Now, this may be tempting to say, one leadership style is better than the other, but unfortunately that is not the situation, because we will have to have different type of leadership under different circumstances. We will be coming to that a little later. Right now, we will go to behavior theory of leadership. Now, this is a theory which is based on the basic premise that leaders are made and they are not born. Leaders can be trained. That means, there is nothing like a born leader at all. The emphasis is on action and not on mental qualities or internal state of the leader. And one example of this theory in particular is the McGregor's theory of X and theory Y, where under theory X he says that individuals are incapable of taking decisions, incapable of taking responsibilities, and incapable of doing something on their own. Whereas, under theory Y he says they can take decisions on their own, they are responsible and they can control themselves. Now, this is the behavioral theory of leadership. Now, we come to a contingency theory leadership style. Now, here this is the first theory perhaps which speaks about not only the leader follower, but speaks about taking into consideration the entire atmosphere, entire situation. Now, here we will understand that he gave a concept which is known as LPC, that is least preferred co-worker. But this identity which he gave, LPC, is to be understood differently in the sense that least preferred co-worker does not speak about the followers, but speaks about the leader. There is the catch there. And the focus is on the person to environment. It suggests that participative style of leadership is best suited for a particular situation, and no type of leadership is suitable for all situations. Leader style, quality of others, followers and aspects of the situation are all important. And now, to understand this contingency theory of leadership, perhaps which is one of the most important and influencing theories, is that the task structure is either clear or unclear, leader member relationship is good or bad, positional power as perceived by the follower is weak or strong. That means, a leader who has got clear understanding of the goal, a leader who has good relation with the followers, and a leader whose position power is very strong. That means, he is perceived as a strong person by the followers. Now, we may be tempted to say that this perhaps is the best situation, but unfortunately, this is not the best situation, because there are many situations where the leader will have to make adjustments. Now, the figure which I have given on the screen will tell you in detail about this aspect. Then we are shifting to management theories of leadership. Here we have the theory given by Blake and Mountain. Now, this theory speaks about the objective and group performance, and it also speaks about reward or reprimand on the basis of contribution, synchronizing individual and organizational goals, and there is a figure on your screen now which you can look at. Now, here it will be clear to you that on the x axis we have concern for production, on y axis we have concern for the people. Now, if the concern for the people is very high, say 9, and there is no concern for production, probably this will be suitable for a country club. On the other hand, if we go to 9, that is high concern for people and high concern for production, 9, this will get you the best results, this will create a team which can achieve things. Now, if we come to the situation where the leadership is impoverished, that means there is no concern for people, no concern for production. That is perhaps the best example of the laissez-faire style of leadership. Then we come to the other extreme, which is authoritarian leader, where there is lot of concern for the production, but no concern for the people. Now, this grid is very widely applicable in the management situations, and it also gives us the best possible way of coming to 9, which is an ideal situation. But because of so many practical constraints, we may not be able to reach 9 by 9 every time, but at least if we have, we must try somewhere between 5.5 and 9.9. That is, middle of the road kind of concern for people, concern for production, or high concern for people, high concern for production. We come to relationship theories of leadership. Here these are also known as transformational theories of leadership. Now, here leader is supposed to motivate and inspire people to achieve, inspire people to contribute their best for collective task. Each member is to fulfill his or her potential. Now, we have covered a number of theories of leadership, and we started with the most basic assumption of the theory, which was the great man theory. From there we traveled to a complementary theory, which is known as situational theory, and then to types of theories and also traits of theories, and then we took up some management theories. But all these theories point out to only one phenomena, which is known as leadership. Now, there are certain qualities of leadership which are universally accepted, and if you read the autobiography of any of the great leaders, that is either Kennedy or our great leader Nehru or Gandhi, or for that example Churchill, any leader if you read, you will find certain common qualities, and these qualities are invariably possessed in abundance in each leader, each of the leader we have talked about. Now, let us first try to understand what is the leader. Now, leader is one who simply sees an opportunity in every challenge he faces. So, there is nothing like a challenge to him, he only sees an opportunity in that challenge to express himself, to achieve things which he wants to, and to maximize what gains he can make from this opportunity. Now, I have taken you through various kinds of leadership, and I am now coming to the conclusion or the summary. Now, a leader, to sum up, is one who sees an opportunity in every challenge. There is no challenge for him, every challenge becomes an opportunity for him to do his best or her best. He knows his strength and shortcomings. He or she puts his point of view with passion, and he is emotionally mature, or he and she is skilled communicator and has a sharp memory. All these qualities I find in our Prime Minister right now. He has the ability to communicate, he is emotionally stable, and he sees opportunity in every challenge which he faces. So, this is one example. You may give your own examples, or there may be many examples available to you. And here the leader empowers himself or herself through empowering his followers. You see, you must remember this. He does not empower himself, he empowers his followers, and through the followers he empowers himself.
మా కార్యక్రమాలపై మీ సూచనలు సలహాలు ఆహ్వానిస్తున్నాం. మీ సూచనలు సలహాలు మాకు తెలియచేయవలసిన చిరునామా: డైరెక్టర్, ఆడియో విజువల్ ప్రొడక్షన్ అండ్ రీసెర్చ్ సెంటర్, డాక్టర్ బిఆర్ అంబేద్కర్ ఓపెన్ యూనివర్సిటీ, ప్రొఫెసర్ జి రామరెడ్డి మార్గ్, రోడ్ నంబర్ 46, జూబ్లీ హిల్స్, హైదరాబాద్ 500033.